Holy moly, Shadow Generations, am I right? Wow, okay. So, I just beat this game last night as of me recording this. I'm recording this on October 23rd, 2024, and it came out on the 22nd, or I guess the 21st, depending on your time zone, of the October. And yeah, I I want to make this review for those I want to start this out by making a review that you can listen to without spoilers. So I'm going to try my best to do that. And then I'll let you guys know when we get into spoilers, like all of that stuff. So for now, this is kind of like the spoiler-free review of the game. Also for this part, I'm just going to use footage from trailers and stuff. I'm literally just going to put trailer footage here just so that there's no spoilers for you guys, so that if you are watching, you don't get anything spoiled. This is definitely going to be a bit different than the normal, typical one of these videos where I review a game, because I am doing a spoiler-free version before we get into the spoiler version. That way that anyone could watch this if they're interested. And when I'm done with the spoiler-free version, I'll make sure I let you guys know, and that's kind of when we're going to switch over to gameplay footage and stuff. So I'll let you guys know when we get into the spoiler territory, but for now, this is spoiler-free. You don't have to worry about spoilers. I just want to make that clear now. And let's get into Shadow Generations, shall we? So, without getting into spoilers, I just want to say the story of this game is phenomenal. It really does go really deep into the character of Shadow and his past, as one would imagine, and just it's kind of hard to describe the story without saying much about it, so I gotta kind of keep it vague. But let's just say that Shadow's character development and just his character in general in this game is probably some of, if not the best characterization of Shadow the character, Shadow as a character in this entire series. I gotta say, this is my favorite characterization of Shadow. I haven't really said this before, but just by playing Sonic games over the last month or so, as that being my primary go-to game series, the 3D Sonic games, as you can tell by me making a bunch of Sonic reviews on a Nintendo channel, I gotta say, out of all the characters, Shadow is my amongst my favorites. I think he is my favorite Sonic character as of this time. Almost there's some other character that overtakes him somehow. But right now, my favorite Sonic character has to be Shadow, and that's because a lot of it is his story. His story is just something we don't see in the normal platforming genre, and it's just such a great story. So just being able to go deeper into Shadow's story in this game, without getting into details here, but just diving even deeper into it, his past and what he's meant to become, or what he was meant to become. It was just so cool to see. Obviously, I haven't played Shadow the Hedgehog yet. I don't know the whole story of that. I know little bits and pieces of that, but it was but I don't know all of the story of Shadow the Hedgehog. Obviously, that goes even deeper into his character than Sonic Adventure 2 does. But just having that base knowledge and going even deeper into that story, it was great. That's all I can say without spoiling anything. So, the story was phenomenal. I would highly recommend checking out the game just for the story alone. But that's not the most important part. I gotta say, the level design as well. The level design of this game was also great. This was probably some of the best of the boost formula we have seen for the Sonic series. And again, I haven't played much of the boost formula games yet. I've played, as of me recording this, I've played a little bit of Generations, and my next game after Sonic Generations is gonna probably be Sonic Unleashed. Well, besides Mario and Luigi Brothership, because that's coming out soon. But my next Sonic game is probably after Generations will probably be Unleashed, and that's all often regarded as some of the best boost formula stages. But from what I've played of the boost formula, or just any Sonic game, I feel Shadow Generations has some of the best level design. It's just so good. Like every act, like from start to end, it's just great. I'm not gonna go into details about each zone because again, this is spoiler free. But each of like just all of like every level. Okay, there is one which I won't say. There is one that isn't as high of quality in my opinion as the rest. And if you've played the game, you might have a feeling of what, or you might have an idea of what level I'm going to be talking about when I get into spoilers. There is one level, but like the rest of it was great. And the open world as well. I'm not going to say much about what's there and like what you can see there and just all that. But the open world as well. Think Sonic Frontiers, but like done super duper well. I was a fan of like the open zones in Sonic Frontiers. Like I liked the openness of it, but like this just takes it to like another level. This like is like if Sonic stays open world, this structure of it is how they should go, or is how they should do it going forward, because the like the little challenges that are along the like the map, they're great. There's some fun traversal options. There's a lot of secrets and a lot of like things you can find on the map and stuff, and it's just like it's just great from just from like a development standpoint. The open world, like it's not super huge, but it's like a great size for what the game is, because it's obviously a smaller game, because it's not like a full-on just like Shadow Generations. Obviously it is Shadow Generations, but it is along the lines of like the length of Sonic Generations, so it's not super long. But like for the time that you play it, the world just has so much to explore, so much to like interact with. I mean, it's just great. So level design is great, story is great, open world is great. The bosses as well were pretty good. I don't think there was a single boss that I didn't like. The final boss was amazing. I want to say it's like amongst my favorite. Again, I've said this like every time. Maybe not every time, because I think I said I liked the final Horizon boss more than the Sonic Adventure 2 final boss. But like, I gotta say, this final boss, not gonna say what it is here, but the final boss in this game is probably my favorite. It's above the end from Final Horizon, if that tells you anything. Like that is like a really badass boss, and I really liked it. But this is like a step above that even, and it's just great. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else to talk about. Shadow's gameplay as well. Like he is honestly, just the whole game in general is really polished. There's just like it's like they took the money that they made from Sonic Frontiers, because I'm pretty sure that game did well, and like they took that money and put it into developing this game, and like there is no flaws to this game. I feel there's like I in my playthrough I did not experience any like times where you get that Sonic bullshit of like randomly dying or anything. Every time I died during my playthrough, it was because of my bad doing. It wasn't because it was the game's fault. This is like probably the most polished Sonic game I have ever played, and I think that's just like I feel like everyone has been saying this, but it's a really polished game. Sonic Generations is. I haven't really gotten super far into Sonic Generations yet. Again, this will be my first time actually finishing it. But from the Shadow Generation side of it, this game is really polished. It plays super well. It looks phenomenal. Great music as well. So in terms of spoiler free, I think this is all I can really say. It's a great game. You should go check it out. It has like it's just like everything good about the Sonic series, like to 11 here. Like all the open zones from Sonic Frontiers, done well here. The boost gameplay here, done well here. Even the 2D levels, I don't think that's a spoiler, there are going to be 2D levels in here. Even the 2D levels were great. They were probably on par with the 3D levels. Like, okay, it's a 3D Sonic, but there is 3D type stages. Like, even those though were great. Shadow control is great. The Doom mechanic, or the Doom abilities, were amazing. I can't think of like a single thing about this game that I didn't like. So if you're looking for a spoiler-free review, that's my spoiler-free review. Hopefully I didn't accidentally say anything that was spoilery here. So that's gonna round off the spoiler-free review. So if you haven't played the game, go check it out before you watch the spoiler review where I go into details and stuff. So yeah, from now on, it's all spoilers. So strap in, I guess. So I'm gonna kind of go in order of like how everything happens. So I'm gonna talk about the story and then go into the levels or whatever, and then like the story in between. Because as much like I could go and like recap the entire story in one go, but then I feel like, because here are my notes, I kind of like took notes of the game as I was playing through it, so it's like kind of in order of like how everything happens. So I'm just gonna go with that. I'm just gonna go in order of how you would approach the game, and I guess normally how you would approach the game. So starting off with the intro scene, it takes place after the events of Sonic X Shadow Generations Dark Beginnings, where Shadow is going onto the Ark, but instead, like, it obviously starts with Shadow going on the Ark, but the intro scene has kind of a flashback in a way, where we can see Maria excited to meet Shadow for the first time, and then it cuts to like after that it cuts to the Ark in current time, where Shadow's on there exploring like what is going on the Ark, because there's some unusual activity going on, and it kind of builds suspense to what will be, I guess, the reveal of Dark Doom being, I hope I don't accidentally say Doctor Doom, because I'm Black Doom, not Dark Doom, Black Doom. I don't know why I said Dark Doom, but I really hope I don't accidentally say Doctor Doom, because I am a Marvel fan as well. But it kind of builds the suspense of Black Doom being the like being behind what's going on the Ark. So we start out on the Ark, on the Space Colony Ark, and honestly that level was really fun. Because I did recently just play Sonic Adventure 2 going into this, and honestly I'm super glad I did, because I played it because it was Shadow's first game, and I wanted to kind of experience what was his first game, because I had a feeling it was going to be important to the like the story of it would kind of like be important for the story of Shadow Generations, and I guess the gameplay and levels and stuff. And honestly, like, everything great about the Ark levels, like both Sonic and Shadow's in Sonic Adventure 2 are present here, because Act 1 focuses more on like what Sonic stage was in Adventure 2, where it has like you going across rails and like focusing more on that. And then Act 2, which was the 2D one. So just going forward, I just want to mention all Act 2s are going to be the 2D levels. For the most part, there is one level going, or one level at the end that is just like 3D both sections, or both acts, but for the most part, it's going to be Act 1 is 3D, Act 2 is 2D. In Act 2, though, it focuses more on like the gravity pillars that you like go up and down in Shadow stage, a Sonic Adventure 2. I can't speak, holy cow. This is my first time, by the way, talking about this game to anyone. I know that physically you're not here and you're just listening to me talk, but like there's just so much going on in my brain right now when I'm talking about this game, because I've just been so excited to talk about this game, which is why I'm recording it right after, I guess, a day after I beat it. So I do apologize if I do go rambling a little bit, or if like I'm not like saying things super straight, because I'm just excited to talk about this game. But anyways, the gravity pillars are the main focus of Act 2, and I thought it was pretty cool that not only did we get like the important sections of Shadow's, like I guess like kind of like the key focuses of Shadow and Sonic's stages in Acts 1 and 2, but there was also like the return of some of the enemies from Sonic Adventure 2 in the stages as well. I know that like Base Generations probably does this as well, as far as I've seen, but like it was just cool to kind of see these enemies like those little chaos looking guys that were the bane of my existence, like the guys with like the arms that like home in on you basically, and it's like impossible to dodge them. It was kind of cool to see them again, and they weren't being a big problem this time around because, well, Shadow could chaos control into them instead of homing in on them, and that was pretty cool. It was just cool to see, like, I guess, enemies that I recognized from my last game I played in this game. And what was also cool, I should wait until I talk about this, but I'm remembering this now. I thought it was cool though that the final stage in Sonic Adventure 2 is the first stage in Shadow Generations. And Shadow's first stage in Sonic Adventure 2, that isn't the boss fight, is Shadow's final stage. So we'll get into that. We'll get into Radical Highway probably in a while, because I'm sure I'm going to go rambling about this game for a while. But I thought that was kind of cool. I just wanted to mention that quick. But anyways, after the Arc level, we get into white space for the first time. And in the distance, Shadow sees Maria, and he gets flashbacks to like her last words to him, which were like save the people of this planet, do it for the, like, you know. And this like kind of distracts him temporarily, because like he's like, is that Maria? Is she alive? Am I able to change her past? Like, she's alive now. Maybe I can prevent her from dying. So, that was kind of cool. That like we kind of get to see. Honestly, just like the whole interaction between Maria and Shadow in this game was great. Like, it was honestly just so like done so well. But anyways, Shadow gets on track, and we get to do some little like platforming challenges on the open world, Shadow's hub, and honestly, it controls just as well as, if not better, because like Shadow just has a bit of a different moveset. It controls just as well though, if not like Shadow controls just as well, if not better, than Sonic did in Frontiers, and that's honestly like really good. And it, like, you really do feel the like kind of Sonic Frontiers like platforming challenges, but honestly that's in a good way, because I did enjoy those platforming challenges, as like weird as they were in the open world. I did enjoy them, so just having those like to help traverse through the world and stuff was pretty cool. And obviously just like there is the Chaos Spear ability, which you get as well, and you can use that to activate switches for puzzles or stun enemies, and that's also pretty cool to use to like pair with and combo with other attacks. But anyways, going into Rail Canyon, which is the next stage, at least for my playthrough. I think that's just the next stage in general for everyone. But this one focuses more on the idea of using the rails and testing your skills as the player to switch between the rails in short periods of time. And then at the end, it was like around the end or the middle, it was like there was like these trains were coming after you, like from the different rails, and you had to switch quickly. And I thought it was kind of cool that there was like a level focused on the rails and testing your timing of them and your control of them. And then Act 2 is obviously a 2D again, but this one is more of a vertical based one, with like platforms that fall or crumble as like you ground pound on them, or not ground pound, stomp on them. This isn't Mario. And there's also more rail shenanigans, and you also had to use chaos control in this level. I don't know if it was required. I know there was probably some points where it was required, but you had to use chaos control to avoid the trains on the level from basically crushing you or killing you. And that was pretty cool that there was like moments in the game where you had to use chaos control to like pause time to be able to like continue platforming. And I thought it was kind of cool when there was like points in the game where chaos control was used, like required, I guess you could say, because like if it wasn't required at some points, if you didn't have to use it at all, then it would just kind of feel gimmicky. And like it was kind of cool that there was like points where it's like you have to or else you're gonna die. And I don't know, I just think it was pretty great. I just enjoyed that. But overall though, Rail Canyon was a pretty good stage that had a good mix of like speed and platforming. I enjoy when there's like a good mix of those in Sonic games or Sonic levels. And then after that, we get to do some little map challenges, where it's like the little challenges like from the levels you played to unlock keys to get to the bosses, which we're getting close to our first boss here. 20 minutes in, I know, kind of crazy. Don't worry, we're about a third of the way through. Only about 40 more minutes of me ranting to go. Hopefully not that much. You never know. But the little challenges were good. Were like really fun, I feel. Again, there was no like part of the game that was like that made me feel that it was the game's fault. So like if there was like a challenge where I like struggled, it was because I needed to get better at Shadow's abilities, because these stages test your skills with Shadow's abilities and movement and like moving quick, or like collecting like a certain amount of rings, or just like not taking damage during the challenge. Those were cool. It was like a nice way to like challenge you outside of the main levels to like test your skills and your ability to control Shadow. And I really like when games do that, when they like test you and like, you know, make sure that you're worthy of going up against the boss that you're about to defeat or about to face. And in this case, we get to fight the Biolizard again. The Biolizard fight was honestly a lot of fun. It's between this one or another boss in terms of like the main bosses that I like the most. All the bosses in this game are great, by the way, but the Biolizard fight was a ton of fun. So it kind of takes what makes the first one great, and it gave it even more attack patterns. And if you like memorize them and counter them when having the ability to do so, it really makes it satisfying and just really fun to play. Because like it adds more mutations to the Biolizard as well. So it's kind of cool to like kind of see the Biolizard not only in HD for the first, but yeah, it was the first time actually. Not only seeing the Biolizard in HD for the first time, but like also being able to fight it and having like not only like its attacks from Sonic Adventure 2, but like also like just them going crazy with it and like adding different phases and stuff as well. It was a really fun boss, especially coming from someone that just played Sonic Adventure 2. It wasn't as challenging as the boss from Sonic Adventure 2, I feel, because like I said in that review, the Biolizard wasn't the most difficult thing. It was just a matter of like memorizing its attacks and stuff, and there was just some attacks that were like the black orb one that were just weird to like avoid. But like overall, this boss, while not being super hard, it was still a lot of fun to play. Anyways, moving from the Biolizard, we get back to the story where Black Doom tells Shadow that his plans of returning and conquering the world with the Black Arms is coming along well, but he's being very vague about it. So it kind of keeps you questioning, like, what does he mean by this? And I just think it was kind of cool that like during the story, it was like Black Doom wasn't just telling Shadow like, "Oh, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take over. I'm gonna take over you and make you my new vessel, and I'm gonna make you be my way of conquering the world." No, they kept it vague, and they kept you thinking like, what does he mean by this? It keeps you questioning and keeps you on your toes about what's gonna happen. And I really like that. Anyways, we get one of our first of the Doom abilities that isn't the Doom Spear, because that's kind of just like, I want to say that's just more of like an addition to Shadow's moveset, just like Chaos Control was. But Doom Surf, that one is really useful on the map, because without it, you're not able to cross like bits of water, and there's a good amount of like water in the map. So like having that on the open map was just really useful, and it allows you to move more freely on the map. And it also kind of got me thinking, this is just kind of another side tangent, it really got me thinking, like, is it possible to beat Sonic or Shadow Generations without using Doom abilities? If you guys are interested in that video, I've been thinking about doing it. I don't like being super open about my video ideas, but I think it would be interesting to see if that's possible. Also, no one steal this idea, please. I'm begging you. I want to be the one that does this. I don't want someone stealing this idea and doing it before me. I'm sure there's going to be someone that does, but I want to be the one to discover it. That's just part of my branding, answering questions that you didn't ask. But let me know if you're interested in that. But Doom Surf is great. It's a great ability. And the next level, Kingdom Valley from Sonic Adventure, or not Sonic Adventure, from Sonic 06 of all games. Honestly, this was a great stage. It kind of focuses on using creating those, or using those switches that create the wind or water rails. I don't know exactly which one. I want to say they're wind, but they could also be water, so whatever they are. And also like traversing the map with the help of the eagle. But it also like has you learning how to use and mastering the Doom Surf in gameplay. So I really liked that that this level not only like focuses on like, you know, the rails and like using those to like get from place to place, and also using the eagle, but it also has like water sections, which usually would be bad, but in this case you're kind of just like cruising on water, you're on a stream, and you have to like master the controls of Doom Surf to make it to the end of the level. And I really like that. I really like that it took the gimmick or the like ability that you unlocked just recently, and it makes you like it tests you on it, and it helps you learn it in gameplay when you're like in a more like linear and like more condensed location and need to get to the end of the level. Act 2 focuses more on like mastering chaos control and knowing when how to time it well, because there's these pillars that come out of the walls that you can use to either get to higher locations, or they'll come down on you, or I guess come up at you and like try to crush you, and you have to like, you got to know when to use chaos control to stop them from moving in order not to get crushed. And again, I really like that it uses chaos control, and like it tells, like it needs you to master it. And honestly, like just the stage in general, the music was great. The scenery was amazing. Like all the stages in this game look great, but like Kingdom Valley just looks super good in my opinion. And like just like the design of it, I just feel like overall this was a great stage. Do you know what else is great though? This game has Big the freaking cat. He doesn't do anything special. He just tells you about like, hey, I lost Froggy again. Can you help me find him, Shadow? But like, just Big the cat being in this game is peak. This game is just peak because of Big the cat. I didn't see this myself because I talked to him a couple times. I don't really remember much of his dialogue besides like, I lost Froggy again. I need help finding him. Want to help me, Shadow? Obviously you don't, because like I don't think Big really does anything in this game. Honestly, he's just kind of there on the map. But I think I saw on Twitter, sorry, on X, I saw like a line of, like I saw someone like posted like a screenshot of a line of dialogue that addressed like the princess Elise, is that her name? Elise, something like that. But like addresses how him and Froggy met the princess and that she was nice. And I just think it's so funny that that's like the only like way like of telling that that game is still like that I guess world, and like Elise is still considered canon in the Sonic series because Big the cat met her. I know no one else met her, but Big the cat did. So obviously the events of that game happened. What time travel shenanigans, flames of disaster, whatever, caused it to not happen. Just a whole mess of a game. That's for another video. That's for another time if I ever get to that. But I just thought it was kind of funny that was their way of addressing Sonic 06 is in fact canon, but like not on the timeline, because like the events of it aren't canon, or like the events of it are canon, but like they didn't happen because time travel. Yeah, that's as much as I could say. Anyways, after Big, we get into what is probably not a bad stage, but probably like the weakest of the stages in the game. And I knew for a fact, despite not playing Sonic Forces and not knowing these zones, I knew for a fact just by the level design that this was the Forces stage. I thought that was kind of funny. I just wanted to mention that. I thought it was so funny that I was like, this is the Forces stage, isn't it? Sunset Heights, if you didn't know, is the Forces stage. And this one is a more hallway linear-like level, which is a bit of a step down, like compared to the other, like more open but also like linear. Like they're more open, you're able to explore more. This one is more linear, and like the goal is like set in stone. Like there's no like, I guess there's not much exploration to be done here. And honestly, as much of a step down as it was still pretty decent. Um, I really don't have any notes here for Act 1, apparently. But for Act 2, it was again 2D, and it has you avoiding the lasers of the giant Eggman robots and using Chaos Control to stop them from destroying the platforms you need to in order to beat the stage. Overall, like, I remember this not being the best stage in the game, and it's probably the worst one in Shadow Generations, but honestly, it's still pretty good. There is no, there's no level in this game that I actually hated or despised or didn't want to, like, play again. Like, even if, like, I play Shadow Generations again, which I probably will, but when I do get to that again, it's not like I'm going to despise going to this stage. It just wasn't as strong as the other ones. Still great visuals, great music though, just not the greatest level design, but it wasn't horrible. Anyways, we finally get to see Shadow reunite with Gerald and Maria. Oh my god, it happened. He gets to see them again. He wants to, like, change their fate and save them as they are from the past. Like, they were brought in by, I think, the Time Eater, because that's involved with the whole, like, doing of all of this. I don't know how Black Doom comes from this, but, like, he happens, and everyone, kind of, like, all of the, like, this story only happens because of the Time Eater. And I don't know all the lore with that because I haven't played Sonic Generations yet, and maybe I should have played Sonic Generations to kind of know what the Time Eater is more so beforehand, but it's not super important. All I know is that they were brought in from the past from the Time Eater, and because of this, Shadow wants to try to change their fate and save them from, well, obviously Maria getting shot, which we get to hear the gunshot in this game, and ooh, Maria got shot. Let's go. This game is peak. But no. It was pretty cool though that, like, Shadow, at least in this time, he was like, I want to save them, and obviously, that would probably mess with the time-space continuum, wouldn't it? Anyways, the next boss is unlocked after doing some more of the levels, like the challenge levels, testing your skills and stuff. Great levels, like I mentioned before. But this boss was the Metal Overlord, and honestly, it was pretty good. I haven't played Sonic Heroes. I'm pretty sure that's the game that the Metal Overlord is from. I haven't played it, but the boss was still good, and it has some fun attacks and counters that you could do. It was a bit of a slower fight than the Biolizard though, because it was kind of a chase sequence. Because, like, you were chasing after it on the Doom Surf. And, like, it felt kind of janky, but that was also because I wasn't super used to the Doom Surf at that point in time. But it was still a great fight. It was still really fun. It was still a lot of... It was still great in general. I know I've been saying that a lot, but it was a good boss. It was a good boss. Like I said, there isn't a single bad boss in this game. But anyways, after you beat the Metal Overlord, which, like I said, is the second boss of the game, there's still one more, and that could be a contender for being my favorite boss in the game. But after the Metal Overlord fight, we learned that Sonic's powers are connected to Black Doom, and that Black Doom is related to Shadow by blood. Obviously, the DNA of Black Doom is what created Shadow, from as far as I'm aware. But it was interesting though to see, like, to hear Gerald be like, "Yeah, you're related to Black Doom by blood," and it's also revealed that Black Doom wants to either use the powers given to Shadow to take over his mind and make him the ultimate weapon, or to be reborn and to use Shadow as the vessel. So the stakes get crazy here because Black Doom is planning to take over Shadow and using these abilities that he's learning to either mind control him basically and make him the ultimate weapon, not the ultimate life form, the ultimate weapon, or to be reborn inside Shadow. So pretty intense here. After this though, you get to unlock Doom Morph, which allows Shadow to speed through corruption and to get great heights by using the morph balls along the stages. It's a really useful ability, honestly. Like the little black goo, that's called that's called corruption. I'm pretty sure that's what I have in my notes, anyways. It's called corruption, and it's nice that there's like a way to, like, I guess, traverse that more easier. And it did take me a bit of time to get used to how it controls, but after playing through it, it controlled well. Like I said, Shadow and like even his like abilities, like even if it's like learning them for the first time, after you like get used to how they control, because obviously they're gonna play different than Shadow does, and there's people outside windows for some reason. I don't know what they're doing, but outside of like getting used to them for the first time, they all control well. And obviously the Doom Morph was a great addition for Shadow's moveset here. Moving on to like, I want to say this is the semi-final level. Maybe, hold on, let me double check. Yes, the semi-final level takes place in Sonic Frontiers, my first ever Sonic game. Chaos Island. Whew. Despite it being my least favorite stage or least favorite part of Sonic Frontiers, it was actually pretty great. The Act 1 focuses on using the Chaos Spheres and the Doom Morph to traverse the level. And like, there are some parts of it that like, probably because it used like the assets from Sonic Frontiers, but there are some parts of it that feel like it come right from out of Sonic Frontiers, and that's in a good way. Again, I said I enjoyed like the little platforming challenges on the map of Sonic Frontiers, and like those kind of be translated into a Shadow level, and like that kind of like being the whole gimmick of the level. I really enjoyed it because like you would use the Chaos Spheres to like activate the activate switches and stuff that like create like I guess like platforms for you to like get across, especially in like the lava place and stuff. And like the Doom Morph was used to like traverse walls and like traverse like from point A to point B and stuff like that. So it was really great that it was like it all blended well together. Act 2 was also like it felt like a 2D section from the Frontiers Island, not like the not like the cyberspace levels, but like the like 2D like segments in those like open world or like open challenges in Frontiers. And as you're traversing platforms that move up and down based on if you are on them, so like they will move up when you're not on them and move down when you are on them, so like weight sensitive, I guess. And there's also balls that were rolling your way. I know, Shadow getting chased by balls, really scary, but they were like launched from like little cannons or something, and they're rolling down at you, and you have to like be careful of them and stuff. But yeah, besides despite the fact that Chaos Island was my least favorite part of Sonic Frontiers, at least the base game, not counting the DLC, but like my least favorite part of the base game, the level was really good, and that's probably my Frontiers bias speaking. But I really enjoyed it, and I want to say it's not my favorite because I still think that Kingdom Valley was like on top of that. I want to say that Kingdom Valley is probably either Kingdom Valley or the Colony Arc are probably my favorite stages. Maybe I should like go back and like make a ranking on like my favorite stages, or like rank them from worst to best of Shadow Generations. Holy cow, I cannot speak today. But maybe I should go back and like replay them and see that. But I want to say that this is like just below Kingdom Valley. It was a great stage. Anyways, we get a Sonic cameo after Chaos Island. And he needs the Chaos Emerald from Shadow, and he steals it. But this Chaos Emerald was actually a fake one, because from earlier on in the game, I want to say it was like because Shadow was on the Space Colony Arc. Hold on, is this implying that fake Chaos Emerald from Sonic Adventure 1 or Sonic Adventure 2 was on the Space Colony Arc for all this time, and Shadow finds it, and he just holds on to it the entire game? That's just crazy to think about. Like, has that fake Chaos Emerald been up there for all those years? Obviously in Sonic time it probably wasn't super long, but like in our time it's like been 25 years since Sonic Adventure 2, I want to say. Maybe even like 30 years at this point. I don't think it's been that long, but it's been a really long time since Sonic Adventure 2. 20 to 25 years. And just thinking like that fake Chaos Emerald from Sonic Adventure 2 has been up at the Space Colony Arc for all this time, that's insane. But anyways, Shadow needs the real one to use Chaos Control, obviously. So Sonic is the fake one, so that's kind of funny. And I was thinking that maybe this would like tease like the rival race or rival fight with Sonic in the Shadow campaign, but like there wasn't that, unfortunately. You don't get to beat Sonic's ass in this game, which is very unfortunate. Or maybe you do and I just didn't find it. Let me know if that is the case, because I want to beat Sonic's ass as Shadow. That'd be pretty funny. But it was a pretty cool, it was a pretty fun cameo of Sonic, I guess, kind of crossing paths with Shadow in his campaign. Because again, these two campaigns take place at the same time. Anyways, after Sonic's cameo, we get to the Mephiles fight. And despite Mephiles being from probably what is considered the worst Sonic game, his boss fight was pretty good. You get to use Doom Morph in the boss, because it also kind of uses like a similar ability. I don't remember what it's called, or maybe it was like, maybe it was maybe something related to Iblis. I don't remember exactly. Again, I'm not super caught up in all the Sonic lore because I haven't played all the games. But he's able, Mephiles is also able to like transform into like a Doom Morph type of thing, and you kind of gotta like attack him from that. And then obviously he clones himself and stuff, and like messes with you and stuff. But like honestly, his whole like fight and like his whole like being desperate to like be restored on the timeline and not like be like, I guess you could say be forgotten. It was pretty cool to see, because like Mephiles, obviously no one remembers his events, so seeing him remembering Shadow but Shadow not remembering him was pretty interesting. They had an interesting dynamic, because Shadow was like, I don't even know who you. It kind of reminded me of like the meme of Wanda being like, like from Endgame, Wanda being like, you took everything from me, and then Thanos being like, I don't even know who you are. That was basically Mephiles and Shadow, and that was pretty funny and pretty great dynamic. Honestly, I want to say that Mephiles, like his boss fight was, I don't know if it was better than the Biowizard, because again, I don't have any experience with Mephiles outside of this game, so my bias towards the Biowizard might be a thing. But I want to say that objectively, Mephiles had the better boss fight. So going into, I guess, the next story bit after that, we kind of see, or we hear that Black Doom's plan of taking over Shadow is presumably near completion. And that Black Doom learned from his last encounter with Shadow, and he won't make the same mistake twice, probably of being defeated by Shadow. And this fills Shadow with rage and anger, and because he wants to get revenge. But of course, Maria, being Maria, wants to calm him down and tells him that she doesn't want to see him full of anger, and that he should seek the peace within his heart. This is presumed to be that Shadow doesn't listen, however, and he unlocks the Doom Wings, which allows him to glide mid-air in levels if he has 50 or more coins. They control actually pretty well after getting used to them, and they really allow for you to traverse the islands, or the island, in like levels much quicker. And it's pretty nice to have like the ability to like, I guess, traverse across like from one point to another pretty quick. I also did forget to mention there is quick travel, or fast travel, in this game between levels, and while I didn't use it much because like the map isn't super huge, it's still a nice feature that they had. So I just wanted to mention that, because we're talking about traversing the game. But anyways, Shadow, after getting his Doom Wings, he goes to face Black Doom. But before he goes, he tells Maria that he has no anger in his heart, and that and he tells Maria he's doing this for her to fulfill her wish of everyone being able to be happy. I know, very, very dramatic, but honestly, just the interaction between Shadow and Maria in this game was great. They had a great dynamic, and as much as like it would be cool to see Maria show up again in a future game, obviously it won't happen, because like her fate's already been decided. She fucking dies. She gets shot. Sonic fans all over the world are gonna go crazy for that when Sonic Movie 3 happens, when that happens on the big screen. Yeah, they better. No, it's kind of funny having little roommate cameos in here. My roommate says that they better fucking kill Maria on screen. And they better get her shot.
Listen, if I I don't at least hear a gunshot on screen, I'm walking out.
He's gonna walk out of the theater if he doesn't hear a gunshot. You heard it here first, folks. Anyways, let's try to get back on track here, shall we? But yeah, I guess the dynamic between Maria and Shadow in this game is great. It's always been pretty good. We don't get to see it much, and we get to see like the most of it here, and like just like their whole sibling aesthetic, or like their sibling dynamic. That's the right word. It's just nice. I really hate that the Sonic fanbase shipped them for the longest point. Yeah, it was kind of cringy that like it was kind of that the Sonic fanbase shipped them, but they came out and said that that Shadow and Maria are basically siblings, and it makes sense because yeah, people probably do still ship them, says my roommate. But yeah, like it was just kind of nice to see their dynamic grow throughout this, because like Shadow obviously knows what happens and he doesn't want to see Maria go again. So that's going to be kind of important going like into the last scene. But first, we got to go through Radical Highway, and this is probably a personal favorite from Sonic Adventure 2. And like I said, it was cool that Shadow's campaign in Shadow Generations, or Sonic X Shadow Generations, starts with his final stage in Sonic Adventure 2 and ends with his first stage. I just thought that was cool. But seeing this as the final zone was obviously great. Act 1 has you dealing or like using the wings to fly across the stage, as well as platforming across across pits, using enemies and those bars that you can spin on to like that you have like you know those like bars that like you spin on and you have to like time like perfectly in order to go where you need to. It kind of focuses on that, takes that from Sonic Adventure 2, which was pretty good or pretty great. Act 2, for the first time this entire game, it's not a 2D level. It's actually a 3D level, and has you flying with the wings across the stage, while also avoiding walls that are thrown at you as you traverse the level. This was probably the most difficult stage thus far, but honestly, like beating it and just like I guess like playing it was just satisfying from start to end. So that's good, at least. And the final boss, we're finally there. 47 minutes into recording, we're finally to the final boss. Again, I want to say that 10 minutes of that was the spoiler-free review, so in reality, this is 37 minutes in to talk about spoilers. The final boss was peak, okay? It has you use all the Doom abilities and test how far you have come as you fight Demon Doom. So like you literally use every single ability. Okay, you don't really use the Doom Spears, but you use the Doom Morph, the Doom Surf, and Doom Wings to fight Demon Doom. That doesn't sound right. His name was Demon Doom, if I'm not mistaken. I really hope I didn't put Demon Doom into my notes and it's just wrong. But the final phase against Neo Demon Doom has you using the Doom Wings. I'm saying Doom a lot. Holy cow. But you use the Doom Wings and you have to fly after him and catch up to him in order to attack him. Honestly, cinematically, this boss is amazing. Just like the cinematography and stuff of like, you know, Shadow like attacking not Black Doom, Demon, or Demon Doom. It is Black Doom. Demon Doom though, in the final phase with Neo Doom, just having like him attacking him and just like seeing that, and like I guess seeing like Shadow, like just seeing Shadow, with like that gold aura around him. Unfortunately, he didn't go super because he didn't have the Chaos Emeralds, so it wouldn't make sense for him to. And this was probably the best way they could have done it. But the final boss really does show that Shadow is truly the ultimate life form and that he is a badass. I said this for the Sonic Frontiers Final Horizon boss for Sonic, but this is like kind of that equivalent for Shadow, where it shows you that he is in fact badass. He is truly the ultimate life form, and it's just a great fight. All Hail Shadow. I think there was a remix of that. Was the final boss track, and honestly, it's such a fitting song. They could have used I Am All of Me, and that would have been great too. But I think All Hail Shadow is like the best possible one, and like a remix of it as well. it kind of sounded like the Sonic Symphony like arrangement of that, which was pretty cool. It was like they used that, or like were heavily inspired by that, and that's what they used for the final boss. And honestly, it adds to the atmosphere of like this being this epic final boss. Again, it's kind of like with final bosses, you can't really explain them. You have to like see them or play them yourself in order to like get an idea of what it's like. But truly, this was probably one of the best final bosses of any game I've played. I've been saying this a lot for every Sonic game I've played, but Sonic final bosses can be peak. But yeah, that kind of rounds up the game, because Shadow is obviously successful in defeating Black Doom, and because of this, this gets rid of Shadow's Doom abilities. So because Sonic's adventure at this time is also coming to an end on Sonic Generations, Rouge comes back to get the real Chaos Emerald to switch it up before Sonic's battle, or before Sonic battles his final boss. And so Rouge gets the real Emerald from Shadow so that they can go and switch it up, so that Sonic has the real Chaos Emeralds and not just a fake as well, so he can go super. And after this, Shadow reunites with Maria and Gerald, and the two of them are returning to their timelines because, well, obviously without Black Doom being there, they're able to go home. They're not being held there anymore. Shadow wants to prevent this from happening, as it will mean that Maria dies, but Maria tells him that his friends need him and that he'll see her again as she fades away. This obviously leaves like Shadow in like a really emotional state, because there goes his best friend again after seeing her after many, like 50 years he was locked up, but like for more than that amount of time he didn't see her for that amount of time, and like seeing her go and knowing that she's gonna go to his death, or to her death, obviously, you know, makes him all teary-eyed and stuff. And Shadow, with tears in his eyes, goes to help Sonic and Go. He goes on and helps them. And that's how the game ends, honestly. Just to kind of wrap up here, the game was phenomenal. I mentioned this already a bunch in the spoiler-free and in the spoiler review. Honestly, I think that this was like probably like not just a step in the right direction for the Sonic series, but this is the quality we need for Sonic games going forward. This is like the quality that Sonic games should always have been. This is like, I want to say this is on par, if not even even exceeds the quality of like a 3D Mario game. And those are like really good quality games. And this is like up there with them, if not higher than them. And I really hope that this is like going forward, that this is how 3D Sonic games are treated, that they are treated with this level of polish, with this level of quality, with this level of storytelling. And like, as much shit as people have been giving Ian Flynn for his rewrites of Sonic Generations, none of that is his fault, I want to say. He was kind of working with like the bare bones story of Sonic Generations, and he fucking cooked with the story of Shadow Generations here. And I'm excited to see kind of what he's going to cook for the next Sonic game going forward. I know, I'm already thinking about what the next 3D Sonic game could look like, which is insane, but that tells you that this game is like the perfect game for the Sonic series. It's like probably the best that it could get, at least in terms at this point in time, despite it being a short game. This is like the best quality we have gotten from the series, even from the Dreamcast era. And I really hope that this is like the new norm going forward, and that games just proceed to keep like getting better and better as they release. Overall, would I recommend Shadow Generations? Obviously, like this is going to come with Sonic X Shadow Generations. So would I recommend getting this game for Shadow Generations alone? Hell yes. What are you doing if you aren't picking this game up? If you're a Sonic fan, and if you aren't picking this game up, there's something wrong with you. Even if you don't care for the rewrites, or don't care for the Sonic Generations remaster, pick it up for this game. It is so worth it. Man, I really just ranted about I just ranted about Shadow for the last 55 minutes. That's insane. I did not expect it to be this long. I was kind of thinking, like, maybe I might somehow push an hour. But man, I did not expect it to actually be this long. Holy cow. But yeah, that kind of wraps up my thoughts on on Shadow Generations. I need to stop saying Sonic. I've been playing a lot of Sonic, so playing a Shadow game, or game with Shadow in the title, it feels weird, despite it being a great game. But that kind of wraps up my thoughts on Shadow Generations. Again, if you wanna see that challenge idea that I have, if you want to see me do that, obviously it would be a scripted video and not like an unscripted, unorganized video like this. But if you want to see that, please let me know. I would love to see if people are interested in that. And also, if you haven't yet, if you did enjoy this, obviously subscribe to the channel. That helps out a lot. And I don't really mention this a lot. I should start mentioning this a bit more. But go check out the Discord server. Link's always in the description. We need more people on there. It's dead as hell, and we need people on there. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this one. I'm the biggest snob on YouTube, Christendo, signing off, and I'll see you guys later. I hope you have a great day, and enjoy Shadow Generations if you are gonna play it. And if you're not gonna go play it, go play it. This game's peak. Alright, adios.